Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Ask the Experts.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. And we're
Happy
very
Friday.
excited, right, about this one because boy, we get to see these care box go out the door every week and all the volunteers that come in and build them. And they're all packed with so much love in getting those to actually get delivered right to our newly diagnosed community. So we're excited about this segment because now we get to see all the people who pour the love into the care box and send it your way.
Absolutely. And we know that all of those that are joining us today, plus all of the products and brands that are in our care box, we know our staff favorites and we're sharing them with our families and communities. So if you are joining us live on Facebook, know that all of this is available to all of our friends and family, to the general public. And we just love these brands so much. So we're so excited to share them with everyone. And they have such wonderful missions behind the work that we do. And we are so honored to be able to collaborate with all of them in this cancer space to educate, support in an ongoing way. So we're really excited for today's Ask the Experts. And we're featuring some of our favorites, just some of them, including Cancer Today magazine, Jolene Hart, our Unite for Her advisor. She's got a really fun new card deck that we're featuring. Of course, ACURE Beauty and Good Clean Love will all be joining us to wrap up this Friday. Like, what a great way to spend this afternoon together.
I know, I love it. And I have to share that, all of the people that are on today, they all donate these products to us. So, the fact that there is this give back aspect, that they are involved in the mission as much as we are in delivering it and raising those funds, they help us get there, right? Whether they are donating completely all of the products or they're giving a significant discount for the quantity that we end up buying. So we're very grateful to just their philanthropic outreach and the mission that they have to the community as well.
Absolutely. And of course, we're so grateful to bring all of these amazing products to you. And this is just a small part of our UFH Connect education programming and video library that we bring to you each and every month, several segments. Hopefully, you joined us for our speaker series that we hosted last week. But of course, we could not continue to bring all of these amazing segments and experts in these spaces without the support of our sponsors. So I want to thank our presenting sponsors, West, Merck, Lilly, Gilead, and Novartis. We have our gold sponsors, GSK, Pfizer, and Daiichi Sankyo, with additional support from Tercera and AbbVie.
Wonderful. Thank you, Erin.
You're welcome.
All right. And then Rachel's going to be watching the chat. So she's going to make sure that we get all those questions if they're live and you're, tuning in now. We had a couple that came in earlier that we will answer as many as we can get to. So put them out there and Rachel will be our cure for the day.
Absolutely. And also, with that being said, if you use any of these products or you subscribe to Cancer Today, please share how it has benefited you or how it has made a difference in your life. So we love hearing how our community has enjoyed reading, using, learning from all of the products that are with us today. So before we get into it, I do want to give a little bit of a teaser because, as always, we've got so much to look forward to. And so while today's Ask the Experts wraps up our month of August, we have so much to look forward to in September for our education content. So quick little teaser, we have our speaker series kicking off September on the 4th. It will take place at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We have updates in ovarian cancer, and we will be joined by one of our advisors and close friend of Unite for Her, Dr. Mark Shaheen, and he will be talking all about advances in ovarian cancer, what we're learning from national conferences. He'll be talking even a little bit about new research behind exercise in ovarian cancer, and even touching on hormone therapy in this space as well. So be sure to join us September 4th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. Plus, we have a virtual hangout happening on September 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we are focusing on oncofertility, and we have a panel coming to you with that discussion, including Dr. Terry Woodard of MD Anderson. She is a true leader in this space. We'll also be joined by the CEO and founder, Megan Scherer of Worth the Wait, which is a nonprofit partner working in oncofertility. And we'll be joined by one of our Unite for Her members to share her own experience navigating the fertility space with her cancer diagnosis. So again, that will be Wednesday, September 10th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, if you can't join us, they will be recorded and part of our UFH video library.
Yeah, great lineup. And
I
for you
know.
to access any of them, I'll make sure that Rachel gets that in the chat for us. Just go to uniteforher.org /UFH Connect. And then you'll be able to get in there and look for all of your favorite topics. We have quite a lot here in 5 years.
I know.
That we
I know.
and make sure they're all relevant, and they're incredible. Yeah.
Yep. Check that out for sure. So shall we jump in with our favorites, with our brands?
Yeah, I can get us started. So Eric, thank you for joining us. We so appreciate you. You've been such a wonderful partner of ours, and every one of our care boxes gets your magazine inside. So a little bit of a bio on Eric first. Oh, that's so funny, Aaron. When you're doing that, it looks like your face has changed to the face on the magazine because it's getting blurred out. So Eric is the senior editor at Cancer Today and a magazine for cancer patients, survivors, caregivers, and the families and friends. And Cancer Today is published by the American Association of Cancer Research. They are a very wonderful partner of ours and the first and largest cancer research organization dedicated to accelerating and the conquest on cancer. He has been writing about cancer for about 9 years now and oversees Cancer Today online content, including patient voices, an ongoing series that features stories written by patients and survivors and caregivers all about their experience. So Eric, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you, and we would love for you to share everything about Cancer Today with our audience.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here, and we're happy to partner with you guys.
Great.
Great.
Amazing. So yeah, why don't you jump in and share a little bit about the mission and the focus of your magazine that I will hold up once again.
Yes. So yeah, Cancer Day magazine, we're a quarterly magazine. We call ourselves the authoritative resource for cancer patients, survivors, and family members and their friends. So our focus is really on people who have been affected by cancer, either through their own diagnosis or family members, friends, sharing out the information from research in a way that's understandable, getting helpful, trustworthy knowledge about health and treatment, nutrition and exercise, reaching that to patients in a way that they understand and can interact with, and really getting all that into their hands in a way that is helpful.
Yeah, I know we get the tangible magazine in our care box. Do you actually have that digital as well, Eric?
Yeah, so all of our content is free, always. So it's all on our website. We have both the PDF digital version of the magazine, if you like the kind of tangible flipping of the page on the screen, but each of the stories is also up there for free, and our subscriptions are free as well. So if you get it in the box and you really like what you're seeing and you want the magazine to come through, we publish once every 3 months. Go to our website. Right up on the right side of the page, you'll see the current cover, and you'll see a subscribe today button. Go in there and hit your information, no charge, no credit cards, and you can get that sent to you once every quarter. We also have a newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks. So if you subscribe to the print, you can sign up for that as well. If you don't want the print version and you just want the email newsletter every couple of weeks, there's a sign up for that as well. So that's a little farther down, but on the right side of the page there. But like I said, all the print version stuff goes on our website, but we also publish online only content that goes up. We have a news story every week, as well as a roundup at the end of the week of all the kind of noteworthy cancer news that has come out during the week from all over the web, all over the internet, from every different kind of the New York Times, Stat, whatever. So I'll be hopping on and finishing writing that after we get off here today.
Amazing. And Sue mentioned, Eric, Cancer Today is part of the American Association of Cancer Research. Can you, hearing you say you're also kind of overseeing the news in the oncology space, can you talk about the relationship between Cancer Today and the AACR?
Certainly. So the AACR publishes us. The AACR, I believe you mentioned, they're the oldest, the first and largest professional organization dedicated to advancing cancer research and the mission to prevent and cure cancer. So it was founded in 1907. It's got more than 58,000 members, largely doctors and researchers. And a lot of it also publishes 10 medical research journals. So a lot of it's pretty high level, basic science, really interesting stuff. But they publish us. We're, like I said, a very cancer patient facing publication. So, they provide financial support. We're in their offices, but we are editorially independent. So we report on research out of every journal, out of every cancer center. New England Journal of Medicine, The Lancet. We cover the ASCO annual meeting, SABCS in December. So wherever it comes from, we're an editorially independent magazine and really try to report. But we do share resources. They promote us a little bit, and they get a policy column in the print magazine, which you'll read there as well to catch up on what they're doing in terms of advocating at the federal level for cancer research funds.
Great. Amazing.
I know you also talked about how you do these wonderful stories, a whole series on feature stories by patients and survivors and caregivers. How do you find them? Can people just submit their story to Cancer Today? Is that something that they can do, or?
Yeah, so one of the things on the digital side, I have a kind of ongoing series, as you mentioned, on that is patient voices. So stories written by patients and caregivers about their experience. So if you're interested, you can email personalstories@aacr.org. And we're happy to look through and see if that fits with our content. But yeah, we're always looking through stories. We're reading through the studies, obviously very much a research interest and getting the scientific knowledge out to people, but it goes both ways. And we really try to balance that well and to incorporate the patient experience into what these studies mean. It's not just, how cells interact on a petri dish. We want to know what's the tangible benefit? What does the extending PFS mean for a patient who's going to take this? What are the side effects? What do they look like? So we're always trying to talk to patients, even if we're doing scientific coverage, we try to include a patient voice when we can. And besides that, to get information from patients and really convey what that experience is. What are the side effects like? What are the symptoms like? What are the practical challenges that you face?
Yeah,
And
great.
I was going to say, it's really interesting that you mentioned that. I was, in fact, just having a conversation very similar with one of our members earlier today. And we were just sort of acknowledging that so much in the Unite for Her community, we hear once a person has a diagnosis, there's often down the line that thought of, how can I pay it forward? How can I share my story? How can I share my experience with others? So the fact that you have that outlet, that patients can reach out and share their story and share their experiences as another avenue to support one another is really fantastic. And I'm glad that you highlighted that.
Great. Yeah, we're always happy to hear about it, and we also have different sections like Get Involved, where we highlight, some work that somebody's done. People who have developed pillows for people who've had mastectomies, or they give out gift baskets. So any leads, feel free to pass it along. We're always interested in hearing patient stories.
Amazing.
Great. Well, Erin, I feel like we covered all of it.
I love it. Yeah. So again, if Eric, why don't you share again if those, because I have certainly talked to members that do, like myself, like a tangible magazine just to sort of flip through. But if someone is interested in subscribing or signing up to your virtual magazine, where can they go to do that?
Yep. So our website, cancertodaymag.org. That's our homepage. It'll have the subscribe link there, and I think we also provided the link to subscribe as well. That'll go out with this video. But yeah, subscribe button's right there. E-newsletter, electronic newsletter, email newsletter. You can sign up for that as well. And like I said, all of it's free. Obviously need information to mail out the magazine itself, but nothing else that you'd find objectionable. No credit cards or anything to sign up. Everything's free always.
Amazing.
Great.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was great talking with you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you. And we appreciate the
Thank
partnership.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Erin, shall we bring up our next one? I'll let you introduce this one. I know.
Sure. I know. I am excited. I mean, I'm excited for all, but ACURE has been such a long time partner. So we are thrilled to be joined today with Rachel Rothman. She serves as marketing manager at ACURE Beauty, leading the brand's content, community connections, and new product storytelling to bring clean, purposeful skincare to life. So please join me in welcoming our next guest on our panel, Rachel Rothman. How are you, Rachel?
Hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Yeah, appreciate
amazing.
you. Well, I have to dive into a little bit of the history. I have to say, ACURE has been one of our partners for, gosh, 14 of our 15 years, I want to say,
Yeah.
from the beginning. From the beginning. And it all started with even giving those samples to young teens on how to do clean beauty at our Pink Invitational. And then it started growing into these beautiful full-size products that Erin is holding up now. And you have just continued to support us. When I say we get probably 35,000 full-size products from ACURE, that's how
Yeah.
many a year to keep up with the demand of our community. And Rachel, we can't thank you enough, because it's one thing to tell people what clean beauty is all about and what they should use, but it's another thing to be able to say, this is what clean beauty is all about, and we're going to give you this full-size product to use for a good month and feel it for yourself to see if that aligns with your routine or feels good for you. And then you even go one step further and give our whole community an incredible discount on your products for life. So thank you for being that champion. I know
Yeah.
that's a beautiful connection with your founder as well at ACURE, just knowing why she wanted to get into that space. And but we appreciate you so much as one of our lead partners there in the care box.
Yes, of course. It's so important to us, and we have always really, really treasured this partnership.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so how about you start just giving us your mission, share about a little bit of your mission and how it just really lifts all the ACURE community up to support our community as well.
Yes, for sure. So like Erin and Sue mentioned, ACURE is a clean skincare company, and our mission really is clean and healthy skincare for all. Our tagline is products with purpose. So we really stand firm in that every formula has a role and every ingredient is always going to be purposeful, and every product is going to be designed to also be safe and effective for, we say, pretty much almost all skin types. Our products are always free from harsh chemicals, any synthetic fragrances. Fun fact, if you've ever used any of our products, anything that you're smelling in our products, there's nothing synthetic in there. It's always just coming from essential oils. We're made with high quality plant-derived ingredients. So we are not only safe for all skin types, but we're also really passionate about our sustainability mission and the planet as well. And yeah, like they've mentioned, we donate lots and lots of products to Unite for Her annually. We do the care boxes. And this month in the care box, I know Erin mentioned that we have the brightening day cream and then the resurfacing intergalactic exfoliator. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but I can touch a little bit on both of these products. So so for the exfoliator, what's really great about this one is that sometimes when you think exfoliator, there's actually two different kinds. So there's a chemical exfoliator and then a physical exfoliator. So I think if anybody hears the word exfoliator, they kind of think it's going to be a harsher kind of scrub. They're maybe going to be a little bit weary if they have sensitive skin. But what's really awesome about this one is that it's a chemical exfoliator. So it has glycolic and lactic acid, which dissolves skin cells, making it safer than a physical exfoliator like a scrub. So it's really, really great for someone who is wanting that exfoliation that has more sensitive skin. So if you're using the product, if you have more sensitive skin, we recommend you use it around once a week. And then if you have normal or maybe a stronger skin tolerance, you can use it about 2 days a week too. And it's really great for, it'll honestly do almost the same thing as a more like physical exfoliator. It really gives you that like smooth finish if you're kind of feeling that dead skin. And then for the brightening day cream, this is one of my favorites. This is one of the team's favorites. It really is. We call it like the all-around moisturizer. Like it will work for everyone. It layers amazing if you're putting any products under, if you're putting any products on top. It's really rich in argan oil, which is an essential fatty acid hydrates your skin barrier, eases irritation, and then also Cica, which is more of like an antioxidant protection. So especially for those undergoing treatment, I know that can cause, really sensitive skin, maybe some dryness, some redness. This product will really support with that. And it's super gentle. You can use it day and night.
I love that. And I'm glad that you've really emphasized being gentle, being sensitive, because I will say, we hear about a lot of different side effects as we're connecting with our community, but skin changes, sensitivity all over, frankly, is something that comes up. We know medications can have varying effects systemically. So knowing the thoughtfulness and the intention that goes into creating products that are good for all skin types. Can you speak a little bit to how ACURE ensures that truly anyone, even someone undergoing chemotherapy, immunotherapy, would be safe in using these products?
Yes, totally. So number one, we have lots of, transparency in our ingredients and our labeling as well. So somebody undergoing treatment, a lot of those people are going to be very picky on what products they're going to be using. So we definitely to make sure to be that brand that, like, if you're seeing us at Whole Foods or if you're shopping for us online, that we are very, very transparent and that we are free from, for example, like parabens, sulfates, synthetic fragrance, artificial dyes, kind of things that I touched on earlier. We only use essential oils. We're really, really committed to having transparency in all of our ingredients. And we are always doing like ongoing industry research, just ensuring that we are using the healthiest, safest, most effective ingredients as well. So definitely aim to be a trustworthy brand in that. And second of all, we are also very transparent that we conduct lots and lots of testing. This is something that's really, really important for us. So every formula is tested for both safety and efficacy. So before we launch a new product, everything is dermatologist reviewed. And we also do something really cool called RIPT testing, which is repeated insult patch testing. So essentially it's dermatologists using different patients over the course of, it can be over a few weeks, a few months, just repeatedly adding it to the skin and monitoring for any reactions, ensuring that like there's no insane, irritation or allergies. It really is going to be safe for every skin type. And we also do lots of stability testing as well, just making sure that, the products can stay on your shelf, stay in your bathroom long term.
Oh, that's really good to know, because labeling testing is something that comes up, but I think especially with skincare, longevity, maintaining the quality of the product is something that we might not think about. So that's actually really good to know that you also look at, making sure that the integrity of the product as it lives in our medicine cabinet, and we use it periodically, the high quality is there.
Yep, for sure.
I agree. I know that ACURE is always very careful in how they ship their products to us, making sure that, we have the most time frame available to sit on that shelf as well. So it just is, we appreciate how much you just lean into the safety of our community, and they notice. They certainly notice, Rachel. They love this product. We get testimonials on it all the time, both like live in person and written. We've had women ask us about the smell of certain ingredients, and we'll question like, what is this smell? I thought it was no fragrances. And I love that we can just refer right to you and you give them the answer that they can feel so good about, like, oh, nope, that's an essential oil. Yes, it's fragrant, but rest assured, there's nothing in there that is harmful or a fragrance. So we just have such a gold standard, which we'll hear from Jolene Hart, who's our advisor next. And you are really at the top of that gold standard. So thank you so much for all of that. Yeah.
Of course. We love it.
Yeah. I know also that you guys are so committed, to the entire, Unite for Her community. So what steps does ACURE take to make sure that they're accessible and affordable and that the community is there? And that is one thing too. We want to make sure that it's not going to be a burden on their wallet, right? Because some of these products are so expensive. That's why we're so grateful that you do give a full-size product. You give an actual discount code to our community as well. But I know you do other things to make sure that it's affordable. So can you talk about that a little bit, not only to our oncology community, but anybody who's looking to make some upgrades?
Yeah. So for sure. Fun fact. So our CEO, John, he is the one that founded ACURE with his wife, who was actually going under cancer treatment as well. So big story of how ACURE came to be what it is today. But what John loves to tell the story of is we really feel that we were one of the first brands to bring skincare into a more accessible place like Whole Foods. We mainly started in Whole Foods. And I think back even in 2010, so you're even thinking just 15 years ago, clean was not the standard yet. Not all skincare was clean. Now it is more of like, you know, all these bigger beauty brands now want to be clean. But in the beginning, it's like if you wanted the clean product, it was going to be really expensive. You were going to have to go to Sephora. You were going to have to do all your research. You were maybe going to have to order from special, you know, dermatologists online. It was not something that was considered accessible. So that was a big thing when John and his wife were starting ACURE. So accessibility has been a really, really large part of our founding mission. All of our products that you'll see at Whole Foods, I would say there's a few outliers out there, but most products are between $10 and $20. And since, you know, in the last 15 years, we've also just become more accessible in where we sell our product. We started at Whole Foods. You know, you could buy online as well, and you still can. But now you can find us at a lot of retailers. Whole Foods carries our entire product line. So if you're interested in seeing all that we have to offer, you can just pop into a Whole Foods and all of our fun stuff should be there. But we've also, you know, onboarded other retailers like Sprouts, Target, Amazon. We're in a few Ultas as well. So also really important that people can show up to, you know, places that they would, you know, are more affordable and are more accessible, and find our products as well. So we definitely agree with you guys. Clean skincare, we definitely think should not be considered a luxury. We really think that safe products should be accessible to everybody.
Sue, you're muted. But I would probably agree with whatever you said because yes. I love that.
Oh, so good. Well, Rachel, we appreciate, you know, the team and John and his wife and for founding this. I know it was, I feel like you guys are around 15 years old as well. Is that correct?
Yep. Founded in 2010. So just about at that 15-year
We
mark.
were right in that same like growth period. I remember that. And you guys just jumped on so willingly and really with not asking for anything in return. Like you just wanted to give and make sure that our community had access to this incredible product. And you have kept up with our growth, which we are grateful for because 300 products soon became 30,000 and you kept saying yes. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, of course. We love the partnership and we're always looking to do more to support you guys and talk about you guys and bring awareness. And yeah, we just really value the partnership. So thank you guys as well.
You got it. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
All right, Erin, I think it leads beautifully into our next guest, right?
It does. And she is a familiar face, I think, to all of us. We are so thrilled to be able to introduce our beauty advisor, Jolene Hart, who is a former beauty magazine editor turned certified beauty and health coach. She's also the best-selling author of the Eat Pretty series, which includes Eat Pretty, Live Well, and Eat Pretty Every Day, as well as her many other books. And today, we are featuring what we were, as I was saying earlier, all gawking over in the office, her Earth and Body card set, which like for as a daily intention, this is something that really speaks to me and our dietitian team. We were all sort of sharing together. So it is a pleasure to have you here again, Jolene.
Thank you. It's always wonderful to be here. And I'm so excited to talk about these cards today because I do a lot of talking about books. I do a lot of writing, but I also love nature and I love art and I love the experience of talking about what makes us feel good and how we, in the moment of that each day, lift ourselves up and direct our intentions and our thoughts. And that all kind of boils down into why I created these cards. So thank you for giving me the chance to share them.
Yeah, they're so wonderful, Jolene. I have them here sitting in my kitchen. I actually put it on my kitchen table, our little island. And it's just so fun to be able to pop one up. I do it once a week, not once a day. I do it once a week and I just look at it and then I bring myself back to that intention each time. It just brings a different memory every time I revisit that element or, what the card is speaking to. So you're so creative. Thank you for doing this, not just for us, but for our community. They love your books. They are just really easy to apply. And we appreciate that because yeah, a daily upgrade, just 1% better a day is
Yeah.
always the goal. And I feel like you write that way for our community. Just 1% better a day. Here's your nugget for the day.
And I know you both understand this inherently because you are also in the health space and thinking about how to get 1% better. There's just so much advice out there when you go on social media or you read any articles, and a lot of it comes from the perspective of the person, their experience, and you're just getting just overwhelming amounts of advice. And so when I created these cards, I wanted to distill things down to universal wisdom, and what I know to be true. And so much of that comes from nature. So I know for sure the sun is going to rise tomorrow. The tides are going to come in and out. Seasons come and go with regularity. And when I look at those things closely, I also look at these universal health lessons of connection, resilience, cycles we experience in our lives, birth, rebirth, death, all of these, love, all these themes come through in nature to me. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with taking all of this health advice, looking for what is universal and what we might be able to apply to ourselves one piece at a time rather than feeling so much overwhelm over trying to do everything at once.
Yeah, love it.
I love that. Yeah. And I like how you tie that all together because Jolene, I think most of us, we do think about your book series and all the variations and the different aspects of life in which you write and guide. So having these and hearing you complete the circle and how everything is interconnected, it really makes sense. And like Sue said, now we have these little nuggets, these visuals that we can keep out, that we can visit, because I think we all need those reminders. We get caught up in life, we get caught up in what we're doing. So having these visually available that we can go back to, that we have these reminders, is just so helpful.
It is, and it's all of the same themes that I've written about maybe a little bit more extensively in my books, the same themes, but being able to just focus on one at a time. And like you said, Sue, pulling one and just having that be something to redirect yourself back to all week long. I need that because I forget, like, there's so many things I want to do for myself at once. So I don't just do any of them because it's just too overwhelming, right? So having one particular focus, and each card, so there are 52 cards, each one features an element of nature. And what I also try to do is if I pull, for example, I'm going to pull on the ocean card, then I also think, is there a chance I have to connect to this element this week as well? I'm going to read the intention on the back. If I have time, I'm going to go look at the reflection and try to, think through some of the questions. I'm going to do the ritual, but can I also connect to that part of nature this week? It helps me to kind of prompts me to get out of the house, out from behind my screens, and make the effort to reconnect to those parts of nature too. And I know I need that.
Yeah, I feel like you're giving us like that next question on how you incorporate the cards like in your daily routine and to navigate stress and healing and recovery. And I can't believe you pulled ocean because I literally was like, I need to pull a different card because the tides have come up so much now in New Jersey from Hurricane Erin. Thank you very much, Erin. And the ocean has given us this new look. And I'm like, oh, I want to see what Jolene wrote about so I can just align because we were literally up to our knees walking on the beach with, just seeing that ocean come in.
That's amazing.
As a rising tide that we've never seen before. And it got me thinking differently, and an interesting calm on something that was so strong.
So strong.
Mhm.
So the intention, each card and each element of nature has an intention on the back. And if you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't have the bandwidth for a ritual and a reflection, just read the intention and let it sit with you over the course of the week. Read it again. Maybe it will mean even more to you. But the intention for this card for ocean is, even when I struggle to fully understand my body and its mysteries, I will respect and listen to its messages. So I was thinking a lot about the power of the ocean, how we have parts of the ocean that we haven't even begun to explore, parts of our health and our bodies that we don't understand fully. And even though we still have all this mystery and this sort of cloudiness around some of these messages of our health and of nature, I still know its power. I can still listen to the communication and respond to it in a way that is okay for me. And that's what I was thinking about in the oceans. So
Yeah.
I love that. And I will say, certainly speaking to that card specifically, but also all of them, you know, trying to work on this connection with mind, body, the world around us. I hear so often from our community how that disconnect feels like that gap grows and grows and grows because they feel disconnected from their body. Things change, scenarios with treatment and diagnosis are out of our members' hands. And so I love that these intentions and even just reading what's written on each card can help to lessen that gap, to kind of bring that intention and that connection back together for our community. Because I hear so often they feel lost or they don't feel like themselves. And so this is such a lovely daily reminder of how healing and resilience and connection can take place, even for those in the Cancer in the Unite for Her community.
Yeah.
absolutely. And I just think, yeah, when life feels confusing or overwhelming, I turn to nature. Again, like nature is what I know for sure, and it feels so grounding to me. So that was also part of these cards, and a way that I felt like it just speaks to how overwhelming health and taking care of ourselves can feel sometimes, but we can just bring it back to those really grounding parts of what we know for sure.
Yeah. It's not easy, right? It's a really, you have to make such an effort to feel that grounded, center. I think of like having those cards, even if you are with your family members or caregivers or young children. What a wonderful way that you could pull it with your daughter or son and say,
Yeah.
"Okay, let's focus on this together," right?
That's the
Because
thing I've heard the most is that people love to use them with their children, and it wasn't my intention at all, but I do use them with my son.
I
We pull
thought of,
one at the start of each week. And oh, the other thing is I keep saying like pulling cards, and people ask me because we do know about, tarot cards and things like, am I meant to imagine that like the card I pull is the message that I need? That wasn't the intention. It's more like all of these messages are always going to be useful at any point. So just take it, whatever you get is a message that's going to be to give you something that week. It's not necessarily what you need, or there's no divine aspect to it, but it's just meant to piece by piece give you one thing to focus on and kind of take away some of that overwhelm.
yeah. Yeah. I like the way that you said, try and see if you can connect the card with what's around you that day in nature. Because
Yeah.
then when you feel it tangibly, we're all on our screen so much, Jolene, and even for our community members, it's a lot navigating all the appointments and just to like take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass and then pull a card that gives you something that's very aligned with that nature. It gives you pause. Yeah, it
And
gives
I
you.
think the cool thing I've noticed for myself, like for example, you pull the bark card, so tree bark, and you read about the way that bark on a tree mirrors our own protective skin. And then I know every time I go out and I'm like looking at bark, I'm thinking again about my skin. Like those messages kind of stick in my mind, and I see the ocean and I think about the mystery and the trust. I see the bark and I think about the protective layer that we have. And I think you start to make associations between those little health reminders and things you see around you.
Yeah, little mantras that you.
Yeah.
I love it. That's good. Well, it was so creative. We were so grateful to be able to put this in our care boxes for our community members. Um, what type of, for you, I know that somebody who's new to wellness practices, we're not, right? Like we're in it every day, but it does feel overwhelming, right? It does feel overwhelming. So just tell us like first step to approach the box. What are you going to say? First step. You see this box, you open it up, there's 52 cards.
Well, you can decide if you want to do this at a certain moment, like you said, the beginning of each week, or if you just want to reach for it when maybe you feel like you need to be uplifted and you need a little grounding or a reminder that might uplift you. So find a place that it fits into your routine. Sometimes I grab one every week, and other times a couple weeks go by and until I have a moment where I can really sit and reflect. So find a quiet moment in your routine and use it the way it speaks to you. Again, the themes are just meant to bring you back to something that is a simple focus. and don't feel like it's something you have to do. Use it as an inspiration. If it speaks to you, if it prompts you to get excited about doing something for your health that week, use it that way.
Yeah. And you can always pull a different card if it doesn't speak.
Yes, exactly. Pull a different one, you know.
There are no rules. I love
I
this.
should also say,
Yes.
I love the art. This is by Vicki Ling. She's an incredibly gifted artist, and each illustration is just so gorgeous. It's just a work of art. And so Vicki Ling, if you don't know her, look her up, and she has the coolest illustrations. But I just love all of them. I
Amazing.
think they're so
Good.
pretty. So I hope you all enjoy, and you know, you'll find a way that they fit in your life as well.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you, Jolene. We always appreciate having you on and learn something new every time. Every time.
Every
Love this
time.
community of amazing women, and so happy that you can try them out in your lives too.
Yeah. Well, remember, this is one of many books that Jolene has written. This is a card deck, but you can see them above her head there on her shelf. And we just love being along for the ride, seeing her come out with a new book and how it just relates so much to our community. I just want to put a plug out there for Well Rested Every Day, Jolene. I love that book. I love
That's
that.
my favorite. Mine too. Anything that supports like sleep and calmness. Sue, I'm 100% with you. I love these cards, but I love that book.
I just
You all already know I only write the books that I also need. So you know I'm using that book every day.
yeah. Yeah. If we could just write a prescription for sleep. Oh my goodness, right? Like
And for
that.
quieting our nervous system, and the amount of overwhelm, the tech connection, the just like nervous system stimulation that I'm always trying to balance in my life. I need all of the ideas that I can get to help ground myself again. And nature is one of them. Nature is a great free one that we have access to.
Yeah, that's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Yep. Free and legal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Well, if you want to learn more about Jolene, just go on her website, jolenehart.com, and you can just dive into so much of what she has to offer, everything from recipes and her books and just those little, moments to meditate and focus on that can just give you the inspiration for the day. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need somebody else to be like, oh, I feel that. I love that. I love that phrase. So thank you, Jolene, for being there for our community. You are loved.
Thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Shall we move on to our final guest?
I love this. Yes, let's do.
So we're going to bring on Wendy Strager with Good Clean Love. Wendy, I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You jumped in there, eager to come and actually serve on our panel today. We appreciate you immensely. And as a breast cancer survivor and understanding the need for, moisturizing that vaginal wall and everything that happens during chemotherapy. And I love your product. We love your product. And it is in every one of our care boxes. Erin has one of those up there now, one of the samples. But a little bit about Wendy. So, she is an award-winning entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of Good Clean Love. She started in her kitchen in 2003, and Wendy founded Good Clean Love after hearing so much about what women were experiencing and experiencing that painful side of having petrochemicals-based hygiene for intimacy products. So Good Clean Love products are now sold internationally and endorsed by thousands of physicians for their safety and their non-toxic ingredients. I know for us, we do a lot of sexual health counseling, a lot of sexual health speaker series. Good Clean Love is always at the top of the list when we talk to Dr. Apelia. Yep. And a woman-owned BC corporation, Good Clean Love provides itself on providing the most scientific advanced personal care products and patented biomatch technology designed by leading scientists under Wendy's leadership. So Wendy,
Amazing.
well done. Well done. Thank you for being here.
Well, it was such a nice surprise for a Friday to be able to join your panel. And I am actually by the ocean here in Hawaii, so it's very early for me.
Oh.
I come here a lot because, the ocean really does center you like nothing else. Although I used to live in the woods and, anywhere you are, if you really stop and pay attention, if you really witness where you are in a moment, it changes your experience profoundly, right? So I loved every single speaker and what everybody was talking about. I feel like I could go on forever, but yeah, Good Clean Love, I think is a deep beauty treatment. Honestly, we talked to somebody a week ago who said that that's your second face. So, and I was like, whoa,
Wow.
constantly, I never said that out loud before, but
Yeah.
I'm going to borrow that because
I'm
truthfully,
liking it.
we're so conscious about how we take care of our face or our hair, but we don't think about our vaginal hygiene that way, you know, post cancer or during cancer, or even with just without cancer, right? Like many of us don't really think about the kinds of care that most sensitive tissue in our body requires. More nerve endings in that part of our body than anywhere else, right? So if you're suffering with vaginal issues, and you know, I know because we had a call, the most surprising things happen to me every day, honestly. We had a call from a VP of Novartis who's in charge of trying to build new drugs to help women with breast cancer tissue, you know, tumors. And she said that one of actually the most primary reason that women would drop out of these trials is because of their vaginal symptoms. And so and she went on to say, and other people, like we've discussed, Sue, won't even talk to their doctors about what's happening to them vaginally. They're like, well, we saved your life, so you know it's like that many women don't get sent back to their gynecologists. You know, there's literally no palliative care. So anyway, I found out about this when we have a large healthcare program where we support not only organizations like you, but 15,000 doctors nationwide. Because, you know, the vaginal microbiome, that's another company I started to actually really understand and research how the vaginal microbiome affects how you feel every day. And of course, you know, cancer treatments, all the different kinds of treatments really affect how your vaginal microbiome responds. Not even just your microbiome in your vagina, but also your gut, your oral microbiome, right? They're all connected. And we know that these radiation and the chemo drugs and the estrogen inhibitors, they all really, really profoundly impact how you can function, literally function in your microbiome. So we've developed many of the products that we donate to you specifically with this community in mind, mostly because nobody's doing anything about this really critical problem. People want to not just survive, but they want to thrive after they have cancer. They want to imagine that they can be intimate and potentially sexual again, even though there's probably long periods of time they can't imagine that. But, you know, to be fully human and fully well, we're also intimate creatures, right? So, you know, I mean, it's not only cancer patients that have this problem also, I just want to say, you know, women have so many conditions that they struggle with many times for a decade before they get a diagnosis. So, I just feel like giving my life to this research and this work is one way that I feel like I am supporting what I think is the earth, which is the mother earth, right? And so if we would treat women better on this planet, um, we would be healthier in every way. So I just am doing my tiny little part.
Yes.
It's a big part.
Sure. And for me, just to have, and for our community, just to have the trust that this product is so clean and we're putting it in the most sensitive area of our body, that gives me so much relief. Can you share a little bit about how you built this product and how you found the ingredients to, you know, ensure their safety and their efficacy and all of that?
So, you know, I was literally a cottage industry in my kitchen. You know, there's very few businesses that you can say really literally started in your kitchen anymore. But Good Clean Love actually did start in my kitchen. And it's because I myself could not find any products after I had 4 kids. It wasn't cancer, but it was almost as bad, right? Like now we really are beginning to understand what a trauma birth can be for many women. And so by the last time, I was older, you know, I was 38, and I was a wreck, you know, and I would keep going back to my doctor and keep asking what is going on with me. And they're like giving me KY or other kind of legacy player samples. And I go home and I use those things, and then I'd have to like, it was horrible. It was like a fire. I'd have to soak in the tub for 3 hours, and I go back to the doctor again, and and he's like, nothing's wrong with you. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy, and this is, clearly something's wrong. Many years later, I come to find out that the primary ingredient in those products is propylene glycol, which is the same ingredient in antifreeze and brake fluid. And so that's really weird. Don't ask me how they thought of that. But it's certainly not the ingredient you want on the most sensitive tissue in your body. And so how I started, honestly, was you would never bring propylene glycol into your kitchen, right? So, so that's how we got to aloe, right? Like aloe was a product I had in my kitchen, and so when I went and I finally, I learned pretty early that I could make oil-based products in my kitchen, which is how the line started. And we still have some of the most beautiful oil-based products, but water-based products, really you need to be in a clean, super clean environment because bacteria loves to grow. So when we went to our first contract manufacturer, and I had this long list of no, 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 we can't use any of these things, and a really short list of the things we could use. And then I sort of started my chemistry degree of learning about how you formulate products. And I was very fortunate to meet people who were patient with me. And, I feel like I'm a problem solver at heart. So, and I had the problem. So I was highly motivated personally. And then, I had 4 children by that point, and every mother I met, whether it was at a flute recital or a soccer game or a basketball game, we were all suffering with the same problems, right? So the more I realized how epic this issue was, the more devoted I became to trying to solve it, for myself and many other women. So
And
anyway, that brings me to how I chose these ingredients, right? Like, I was always a natural shopper way before it was a Vogue thing, right? I call myself the grandma of femtech because I actually am a grandma. But I was I was doing this stuff way before like many of these women who are like, oh, I invented femtech. I'm like, you were in like middle school when I was doing this, So I've been at this for a long time, and you can see it on my face how long I've been at this. But it's a good reason to get up every day, right? And then I was super blessed, mostly because when I don't know what to do, I pray. And I'm a goddess worshiper, so I'm always praying to goddesses. And I happened to get included in a study. Our products became included in a national NIH-funded study back when they used to do that, to try to develop a product that would prevent HIV and other STDs.
wow.
So they were trying to develop a buffer gel to do that. And we just accidentally got included because we donated to everyone. At the time, it was HIV Alliance. And they did research on the product to find that the product was the safest product they had ever found. It was like matched human fluids, whether it be vaginal fluid or sperm. And
Wow.
that's called osmolality. So that's a big word most people don't know, but it's a good word to learn because when you're thinking about your microbiome, when things are hyperosmolar, you can't keep your microbiome healthy. But when they're isoosmotic, so that means you're not adding or subtracting any water to the cells, right? You're just leaving things as they are.
Mhm.
Anyway, I learned all that from a biophysicist from Johns Hopkins who adopted me as his worst chemistry student ever. Uh, but he was very kind and patient. He was almost 80 when I met him and still riding his bike to his lab every day. And I thought,
Amazing.
okay, you're the first old person I want to be like. And he ran that lab until he was 86 years old.
Wow.
And because he had never seen any of the things he had invented, which he took up, he had been working in eye vision work. And then when his daughter died of a sort of cancer, actually of a cancer, he became devoted to women's health. And that's how he moved his career long before there was ever funding in women's health. And still, actually, we know there's almost no funding for women's health. And cancer is maybe one exception, but probably male cancers get more money than female cancers, is my guess, by far. So, so at any rate, that's when my science really blew up, and that's how Biomatch happened, was that he taught me a lot of what he knew, and I'm a pretty active learner, and I do what I'm told when it makes sense. So, and so that's how we developed our whole Biomatch line. And what we know from all the doctors that we work with, because they come to us, right? Like we haven't even figured out really how to go to them effectively, but they come to us, and increasingly more and more so organizations like yours, right? And other many big cancer centers come to us because of this biomatch technology, which is like science, and also very simple science when you think about, really, we're just trying to biomimic what's there, right? We're just trying to help the body do what it wants to do, right? Which is come back to its own stasis. That's like what homeopathic, even immunization fundamentally is based on that idea, right? We give you just a tiny bit of what would make you very sick so that your body can kind of develop its own immunities, right? And so I am a big believer in that. And so that's how I've tried to do all of my work. And we know that it works, right? Like women get better, right? When you help their bodies to come back to what is normal. And especially after cancer, right? But I mean, am I curing them? No, it's not a medicine that you just use it one time. But the same thing what Rachel was talking about, right? Like you exfoliate once a week, or, like you have to keep taking care of your vaginal health every day as long as you have a body, and then you will keep maintaining, a healthy stasis. And sometimes doctors tell me their patients will ask, how long do I have to do it? Well, as long as you want to be feeling well, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
And
so
yeah, and I will say, we recently had an education segment focused on the pelvic floor, and our speaker, also a huge fan of Good Clean Love, and uses it with her own patients. And Sue, I feel so grateful that we are at a time when the discussion around these sort of side effects from treatment and how estrogen and endocrine therapies affect vaginal health and the vaginal biome, that we are really moving that conversation forward, and we are making our community aware that this isn't something that you just have to put your head down and bear, but there are things like Good Clean Love out there that are good for the body, that are in line, that are within pH, that use good high quality ingredients that can help improve that overall quality. Because you're right, treatment, lack of estrogen affects so many aspects of life. And so we hear it from professionals that we have connecting and teaching our community. And then we hear that from our Unite for Her members as well.
Yeah.
no, it's actually pretty amazing that when your vaginal microbiome is happy, your symptom level goes way down, no matter what condition you have. And then that's when you can start to think, oh, could I be sexual again? Oh, maybe I could be sexual again, right? You're not going to be thinking about that if you constantly have vaginal pain, right? Like that's sort of like, you're not going to go skiing if you broke your leg, right? Like, so, I've written 2 books about sexual health, and love, actually. One is called Love That Works, and the other one is called Sex That Works, and a guide to how do you actually maintain relationships over time, especially when you're going through really challenging times, and how do you maintain a sex life that's vibrant and curious. So I would love to come back and talk about those books sometimes, because I feel like that might be helpful. But we donate to you because we really support what you're doing. And I feel like business, really, B Corp, all of that is about how to be of service. So we are really honored to be of service here. and everywhere where we do this work. And we just had this nice chat the other day, and we're gonna think about how we can provide some full-size product and actually a wider array of samples that we know really make a difference for cancer survivors this coming year. So
Amazing.
anyway, we're super excited to be involved in this.
I know to me, I learned so much, after I was diagnosed, there just wasn't anything available and it wasn't talked about. And it's a shame that I suffered in silence and I did not try anything and just push through, right? And now to know that all of this is available for our community. I never even knew that you moisturized your vaginal wall. I didn't know that was even a thing. And could you talk about all the different products that you have in your line? Because I do think that there's women out there that don't realize all the different ways that you can use the moisturizer, the lubricant, the clean, the Bio-Nude for that sensitivity.
Sure. So I'm just going to focus on the products that would be most applicable to your community that we developed, in fact, with your community in mind. So the first one is Balance Wash, because many, many women have vulvar pain associated with treatment, right? Because that's the tissue that is outside of the vagina. A lot of times we call the inside and the outside the same word, but actually I actually was reticent to use that word for a long time, but the outside of the vagina is the vulva tissue, and that can become irritated in so many ways. So we have this beautiful Balance Wash. It's actually more of an aloe rinse. So again, where we use this organic aloe, 65%, and we for sure are going to get you samples of this to put in the boxes. And women tell us, especially women who have specifically vulvar pain, that it changes their life, right? Because it's doing all that biomatch stuff, right? It's resetting the pH, it's providing this healthy lactic acid, that good lactobacilli can live there, and then just calming it down. Just sort of settling your nervous system, like what Jolene was talking about, but in the body, right? Like, how do we settle our nervous system from inside? We do things that the body already does for itself, right? We support that. So that's the first one. And then the vaginal gel, we have two, and the one that I would recommend and that I'm going to make sure you get samples of is our Rehydrate. We also have another one called Restore, which is strictly aloe, but sometimes when women's sensitivities are really heightened, the aloe can create a little bit of burning for them. Really what that's doing is bringing the pH down. So it's kind of a healthy thing, but they're already so oversensitized that the Rehydrate is just a more neutral base. So it's not going to create that. And we also have hyaluronic acid in there, which is kind of a big beauty item, but also really helps to add and contain moisture, right? 100 times its weight in water, those cells can hold. So when we put it in our vaginal gel, that moisture stays against the vaginal lining for a lot longer.
Amazing.
And then the last product that they can start to think about when they're feeling better using those two is the Reset vaginal suppository, because so many of these of your community, and actually 2 out of 3 women without cancer, so wouldn't be surprising that women with cancer are in that same proportion and ratio, never have the right lactobacilli. We don't know why this is true. We only know that it's true. So it's much more rare to have a healthy, balanced lactobacilli microbiome than it is not. Now, if we were running the world, as I wish we were, we would know a lot more about that. We would know how women get that really great lactobacilli dominant microbiome, and we know why so many women don't have it. We don't know those things now. But we do know that when you supplement with native lactobacilli, like what we provide in our Reset suppository, you can actually cultivate that by using the products. So once you have good bacteria living there, you've completely changed the game, right? Like now you're sort of providing your own body the protection that it needs so that you can enjoy sex more often, right? Like, we do all kinds of interesting research, and we do research at University of Nebraska. And usually consumer product companies don't do all this stuff. That's why I started a science company, so that I couldn't get in trouble with my consumer company. Um, but we just found out after 3 years of this study that our products, our lubricants, like you mentioned, the BioNude, actually these are college students, right? So they're having them have sex 3 times a week. I don't have sex 3 times a week since like 30 years ago, uh, but even when these college students were having sex 3 times a week, our products protected the microbiome the whole entire time. So we just found that out 2 days ago, that was the results of the study. So I can tell you that what we do with this biomatch technology will actually get you to the point where you want to think about having sex again. And then if you're using those products in your sexual life, they will protect you during that time too. And that, I mean, what more can you ask for from life except to walk on the beach, right?
Good. I have one question for you. So you had talked about the burning, and I actually experienced that. Is that something that will get better in time and then you can
Yeah,
use the product? Or do you, if you
totally.
experience that burning sensation, do you just not use that product, go to a different one
No,
until
so yeah, that's a really great question, Sue. I so appreciate you asking that. So the burning and sometimes it's a warming, sometimes it's a tingling. It's a very different sensation than a propylene glycol burning. Let me just say that they are not the same, right? When it's propylene glycol, like, KY or Astroglide or all those products that use that, it's like a sticky kind of hot, like you have to get in the bath, right? This is more of like, um, I mean, I actually like it when I have that feeling because I can feel my pH coming down, right? That's what's happening. That's your body's response to the pH dropping. And so each time you use it, your pH is already a little lower, but whatever. I'm one of those women that don't have the right lactobacilli. So I'm on this program every day. But even so, when I travel, when I'm too stressed, when I sit in a bathing suit for too long, when I have sex, there's so many reasons that our microbiome that's dynamic can get thrown off. Um, and so we,
it doesn't mean you have to abandon using it. You
no,
just
it's actually the next time you use it, it'll be less
better.
pink,
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
with each successive use, that said, there are some people who are sensitive to aloe at low pH. And for those people, we designed the hydroxyethyl cellulose products, which is the BioNude, and the Rehydrate, which is the one that we're going to send to you for your boxes. And the last product that I really would be remiss not to mention is the Relief Gel, which I don't know that you've had in your boxes yet, but it's our #1 requested sample at doctor's offices. And so it's in that same isoosmotic base with 4% lidocaine. So for those moments where, for many different reasons, they're having a lot of external pain, this is a game changer. So that's the products we want to send to you. We want to send you the Relief Gel, the Rehydrate, and the Balance Wash.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're going to make sure that we get that done. I mean, we're actually redoing our whole sample program, so this is a great time to reset this.
Yeah. Well, Wendy, I feel like we got a home run being able to get you on the program today. So thank you so much for
It
joining.
was such a pleasure. Thank you so much. And so grateful for the work you're doing.
Yeah,
And,
grateful for you as well.
making such a difference for so many people in the world. And at a time when they feel so alone, right? Because nothing is more isolating than going through this treatment. So God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
I will tell you, every time people get our care boxes, Erin, right, they feel like we just gave them a big hug, right? Everything was just so warm, so inviting,
So thoughtful.
needed, so thoughtful. Everything's handwritten, right? Like we do
Yes.
that with intention. We pay attention to the details so that they know how much they're cared for. And the people who put the products and give us these products, they do the same, as you heard from them today. So yeah, what a gift to be able to talk to everybody today, Erin.
Oh my gosh. And I think just bringing some insight behind all of these brands, the work that they do, how we're all working together to serve this community, but the greater public in a way that brings health and wellness and intention all together. I mean, we are so fortunate, and I cannot agree with you more. I will tell you, I talk with a lot, and our team talks a lot with our Unite for Her community. They are over the moon, moved when they get their care box and they see everything that went into it. And that is because of everyone that joined us today, as well as everyone that donates to our care boxes. So we are so, so, so grateful.
Yeah.
It's it's a beautiful thing. And at a time like this in the world, we totally need to love each other more.
Yeah. Could not agree more. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Well, Erin, another wonderful Ask the Experts. And I have to say thank you again to our sponsors, because we can't bring on, look at this amazing panel we had on today without their support. So a big shout out to our friends at West and Merck, Lilly, Novartis, and Gilead Sciences, with additional support from our gold sponsors. It's GSK, Pfizer, and Daiichi Sankyo, and supporting support from TerraSera and AbbVie. So thank you again. And it all just leads to such incredible information that not only we're here live, but now it's going to live on our Unite for Her Connect library, and just be able to give people some more information and knowledge. Yeah,
Absolutely.
power, right?
Knowledge is power. And so hopefully we'll see you all in September. We've got more events coming to you. Follow us on social media, be on the lookout for our newsletters. And if this information, if you know someone that is helpful learning about these amazing brands, like Sue said, this will be available in our UFH Connect video library. So be sure to share it with them.
All right, everybody. Have a good night, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, panel.
Thank you.
For the best.
Thank you.
You.
The best. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.